Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown, Lady Amotekun. Very soon. Very soon. Don't worry. I'm going to start buying the Ashebi. That's my new name. Anyway, ladies are on set today. How you guys doing?
I'm fine. That's so funny.
Yeah, so amazing. Somehow this thing has just kind of brought this kind of new aura of pride and, confidence in the,
And it's trickling down. All states want to copy.
Yeah, it's important. So how you doing, my sister?
I'm doing amazing. So tomorrow is World Book Day, but the school will be celebrating it today, so I'm going to be speaking in that school, Supreme Education Foundation Schools, and I'll be
that's a big one.
Yes, and I'll be talking about the reading culture
today.
That's
a big
just
one,
after the show.
I know that school. I know it's a big school. It's not a small school.
Yes,
that's
so I'm doing that. And besides that, today is my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Daddy! Thank you so much for being the best father in the whole wide world. Huh?
What's his title?
Ogweshi. He's a chief, actually. Ogweshi. You remember?
I remember your wedding name. Ogweshi Iji.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday, sir. Ogweshi Ishi.
Hey!
Sorry, okay.
Long life and prosperity. Good health.
So from the Amotekun family, happy birthday, sir. How are you doing? How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine and amazing. I started my March class for my lifestyle with ML.
Okay.
And I finished the February class. A lot of people have lost weight. I'm so happy. And there's this particular grandma who joined us, and she's lost so much weight. And really, yes. And the thing is, Nigerians are understanding what it means to eat healthy. And they're understanding that to eat healthy does not mean to spend all your money or you have to go to expensive supermarkets. You go to that same market, those are your same ingredients. Use them in the best possible way so that is healthy for you. And they're incorporating it also for their kids. So, before they will just join so that they will lose weight. But now they're also making sure that their children, their parents, to eat healthy. So, guys, join my next class.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, I've been that route before, and I felt really healthy. No sugar in your system. No sugar, you feel healthy. But it made me very, very productive because I now had a baby. So, because you become really fertile. Your body, because you have no toxins at all, right?
Yeah.
So those of you hoping that trying to get pregnant, try this diet. Keto. There's no toxin in your body, and your body becomes really fertile. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just telling you my own experience.
And many people.
I took in.
Everything just happened.
So, how you doing, Tokwe?
I'm very good, grateful to God. Excited about growth, excited about my business, and excited about being happy. Good things are happening, and I'm just expectant for more good things to happen.
Thanks. I'm happy. There are lots of good things happening on this table. We just try to keep them on a level. This Nigeria, you can't be sharing your story too much.
No. I want a very big yam. Father in heaven, you can hear me. The kind of yam that you cannot hide.
Hey,
you know when God blesses you with the yam that you cannot hide, your hand cannot cover it. Everybody will come and testify. That's the kind of yam I'm looking for.
Yes. How you guys doing? Any first timers here? You're here for the first time. Please stand up for recognition.
Welcome to the show.
Oh wow! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Goodness, you're very, very welcome to Your View.
We appreciate
We're so happy to have you. Please, you can have your seat.
Our song is loading. Somebody reached out to me that he's composed the song already for the first timers on Your View. I'll be likely meeting the person today.
Because Daniel did.
Let's listen to the song.
Daniel did one that he wasn't flowing.
No. This one recorded in the studio already.
Fantastic.
Hopefully, to make sense.
So once we bring it, we'll share it and we'll start singing it. Fantastic. Let's go on a break. It's Wednesday. There's a very hot matter going on in Osun State. That's our topic today. But first, let's go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to start with The Nation, as usual. WHO to trace 103 travelers on flights with Italian victim. Picture here of members of the Amotekun at the Osun State House of Assembly. Says Amotekun is set for takeoff. Supreme Court dismisses Ihedioha's review application. Ibadan Yahoo boy caught with mini coffin. EFCC returns 263 million naira stolen cash to Kwara. And NSC to become public quoted company. And there's a comments page here for the People's Justice. Really interesting article there. Okay, let's start with this interesting. Okay, EFCC want to start with.
Yes,
Go ahead.
so the EFCC got an intelligence that there were some Yahoo boys in a certain area, and so they stormed the area and caught about 6 of them. Amongst them is a 38-year-old Aziz Adebowale who owned a mini coffin. According to him, he says he uses it as a soap dish, but they found fetish materials in that coffin. Aside that, they also recovered about 6 vehicles, different phones, and an automated machine teller from him. So investigations are ongoing. ATM, yes. Okay. Investigations are ongoing. So
the major head at WHO is assisting Lagos State. Yes, go ahead.
So I think we talked about this yesterday, talking about trying to trace all those that were on the flight with the Italian that came into the country with the virus. And they're able to get over 30 to 35 people, but there's still about 100 or so people who are still have not been reached yet. And the government is working with World Health Organization to reach those people. Some of them are still in Nigeria, some have moved on to other European countries. Also, in that particular story, the House of Reps is asking for a 14-day rest, or 14 days away from their duties, because they need to keep themselves safe.
That one, I beg.
They need to keep themselves safe from this virus. They said that nothing actually has been put in place in their own premises to make sure that they are being tested or, kept safe. But I just wanted to add that, when we took the story, when the deputy governor came here and talked about this coronavirus, someone gave us feedback and said that there was so much panic when they heard the Italian had come in, but listening to him on the show sort of doused their panic. Yeah. But I think what the House of Reps will be doing, if they're taking this, it will bring about same panic. If these people don't feel safe, who are we to feel safe? And I think that. So
in addition, because she has just touched another story, it's a major story among most of the papers. They are saying that the Director General of the NCDC is on a quarantine for 14 days because he just came back from China. And aside from that also, that it will give them an opportunity.
Self-isolation.
Self-isolation. Self-quarantine. Self-isolation is the same thing. So they are also saying that it will give them an opportunity for them to get tested. Right. They have a lot of people coming into the National Assembly. Okay. So they will test themselves and be sure that everything is
also in a related story, because let's take it up on to what other countries are doing concerning this COVID-19. British Airways has cancelled 216 flights. Whoa. Emirates Airlines sent workers on leave. India suspends visas to Italians and Iranians. Pope tests negative and SCDC DG in self-isolation.
But if we all go home, if we all close from work, who's going to be handling the business of the day?
It's not everybody now. It's just said if you've traveled to China.
People making laws are going home, so who's going to be?
Moving on to the Punch. NCDC boss in isolation after China trip. We talked about that already. Picture here of Amotekun. They look so scary, but it's all good. Amotekun uniform. No, this is not the uniform. This is an Ashwebi.
Why an Ashwebi?
They went to the House of Assembly in Oyo. But this where they in Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Ondo Assembly. And they went there with their Ashwebi. This is not our uniform. This is not their Amotekun.
Why Ashwebi first? Why Ashwebi?
No,
what's the reason behind Ashwebi?
These are not members. These are these guys are the Amotekun people. They came and they are there to represent.
They're wearing Ashwebi first.
These members.
They are members.
Oh, just
members of the House of Assembly in Oyo State. In preparation for signing Amotekun bill,
came
together and organized Ashwebi. They will not carry last. And it was leopard skin. So the leopard skin Ashwebi was made by all of them. Some even had traditional cowries and red wrist
charms. This is interesting. That is where we know Yoruba people Ashwebi, we are there. They are there. Okay, let's pick 1 or 2 stories in Punch. Yes. Ogun schoolboy disappears during break.
Yes.
Reps to probe Navy invasion, demolition of Lagos community. I spend $2 million monthly on charity, says Father Mbaka. But Jabir Amila denies sponsoring mom's Dubai birthday with public fund. Yeah. Economic crisis forces 42 Lagos SMEs to shut down. FG to yet to receive $300 million Abacha loot, says AGF. Okay, let's take the human interest stories.
Yes, so this 8-year-old boy is a pupil of the Baptist Day School, Igbesa, Osun State. He was in school on the 25th of February, and then after the initial head count, they had their recess, and by the time they got back into the class, the teacher realized that he was missing. So he went to the house, to the parents' house, and reported to the father that we can't find your boy. And everybody has been searching for him. The school is now saying that they don't have any hand in it. They are not involved. And the father is saying, if you had a fence in the first place, you will be able to protect my child. But investigations are ongoing. They had reached out to the mother who stays in, I think, Cotonou or so, to find out if if the boy was there. The boy is not there as we speak. So I hope that they find this poor boy.
Moving on very quickly to Daily Sun.
The Speaker of the House is saying, see, he did not use government money to throw his mother her 90th birthday. So Saharan News had come out to say they spent 500 million. The birthday was from March 2nd.
The 90-year-old woman went to Dubai for her birthday.
Yes, the birthday was supposed to be from March 2nd to March 10th. But he said there were only family members and close friends that were there. He did not use you people's money to throw that party.
All right, so don't hear.
Senate moves to cut president's powers. Imo, end of road for Ihe Dioha. Cybercrime, FBI visits Mago, hails war on corruption. COVID-19 reps suspend sitting for 2 weeks. Please, kindly let us be calling it COVID-19 and not coronavirus, because
COVID,
we have many businesses.
Isn't that the
my
same
own
thing?
school, my school, they are really, kids are scared. Are we now virus? Like corona,
Okay,
they're really scared.
because,
So please,
the name of the
let's
school.
try to call it COVID-19. It's not coronavirus. It is coronavirus, but let us stick to COVID-19. Okay, let's measure heading, yes.
Yes, so there's been a public outcry that the president doesn't adhere to the federal character principle in the appointment of service chiefs.
Yes.
So the Senate has decided to put out a bill that will give that will set up a commission, Armed Forces Service Commission, to ensure that the federal character principle is applied in terms of appointments in all the 6 geopolitical zones. And if peradventure the political office is not enough, they will just share it equally between the North and the South. So hopefully,
yes. Thank you. Let's move on to Vanguard.
I want to tell the story of Father Mbaka. So Father Mbaka made a prophecy earlier in the year saying that Imo would have a new governor. And that was before the court decided there was going to be a new governor. But somebody was now saying, a Catholic bishop was saying that, he said, I want to get his name, Father Ejike Mbaka's prophecy, they should disregard it. Onoga, Callistus Onoga, Most Reverend Callistus Onoga says that we should disregard prophecy by the Catholic Bishop Mbaka, and that saying that he's my own bishop, he's my own father, but he's not a political office holder, and he shouldn't put his affairs, he shouldn't make statements politically.
Why?
But Father Mbaka was saying that he donated 18.8 million in a bank draft to a hospital in Enugu State, and that he spent 720 million monthly on charity. So
he has the right,
to speak on the poverty and challenges of the society.
Let's move on to Vanguard. I think we're taking most of the stories. Let's find a story that we've not taken. Kaduna killings, 1 too many, says ACF. Our uncle is donating 200 million naira to COVID-19 in Nigeria.
Wow. That's Dangote, our uncle.
Our uncle.
In case you don't know who our uncle is.
APC jubilates as Supreme Court dashes Ihe Dioha's hopes, declines to sack Uzodimma.
Please don't take a story. EFCC returned money to Kwara State. So it's not only Nigeria that is collecting money from previous administration, because now Kwara State has gotten money twice. The first, they got 110 million was given to them. Now they got 260 million handed over to them by the EFCC as recovered loot that was stolen from the state treasury.
Wow.
Allegedly, the governor was saying that it happened under the previous administration. But we're happy that Kwara State citizens now have more money than before.
Let's move very quickly to Daily Trust. That's why the story is not taken. COVID-19 hampers Lagos Ibadan rail project. Service chiefs' appointments must reflect federal character. Violators of Fertilizer Act risk 5-year jail term. And outrage as reps resolved to shut down for 2 weeks. Let's take the COVID-19. Yes, go ahead.
So, apart from the health impacts, we have the economic impact of this virus, or COVID-19, all over, and saying it will affect Nigeria because we know that the Lagos-Ibadan rail is being done by a Chinese company, ECC. So what has happened is that most of them are unable to come back because of this virus. So most of the Chinese officials are in China, are stuck there. Most of the important products that we need for the rail, the equipment that we need for the rail, cannot come in as well. And also, many people are many other countries, I think in America and Europe, are shutting down their manufacturing plants and so many other things. So it's going to affect us as well, and especially with this project.
We have to run off. We have another
Violators of fertilizer.
Yes,
just a short story. So the federal government commenced the implementation of the Fertilizer Quality Control Act of 2019. So it's going to handle cases of adulteration of fertilizers. And if you are caught, if you are guilty, you will be fined. No, you will be fined, yes, 5 to 10 million, or you'll be sent to jail 5 years imprisonment.
That looks small is a major story. People put mercury inside fertilizers. Somebody tested lettuce and there was heavy metal. That's because we Nigerians are poisoning each other because we want to make more money. It is very wrong, and I can't wait for them to penalize some people.
Yes. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, we discuss the changes in the educational policy in Osun State. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Osun State government recently announced the abolition of the same school uniform policy for students in the public schools. They also announced the reversal of the 4-5-3-4 policy in public school back to the 6-3-3-4 format. Now, what effect would this have on the educational system? We have a Vox Pop report from the streets. You can watch that in a minute. But joining us on the show is the Commissioner for Education of Osun State, Mr. Folorunsho Oladoyin. Welcome to the show, sir.
You're welcome.
And we also have with us the Special Advisor to the Osun State Governor on Education, Mr. Jamiu Babatunde-Olawumi. Welcome to the show, sir. So you can call us on 0708-0668-014. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can you please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so everybody's been talking since this policy happened, I think it was last week. And the initial response was, what changed? Because we know that many of you, especially you, you're part of the government, the Rejigs government, where you were actually special advisor to the governor on education, and you were also chairman. You're chairman committee, House Committee on Education. So, what happened? What caused this change, and why is there a need to reverse this policy?
Thank you. I must appreciate you for the opportunity to give the correct narrative to what we are doing in the state of Osun. During the last governorship election, and during the campaign particularly, a debate was organized for all the candidates. And in that debate, the then candidate of the APC, now governor of the state of Osun, was put to task on the issue of common uniform. And when he was answering the question, he concluded by saying, if it is the wish of the people, he would be willing to review, some of the policies, that, were causing agitations here and there then. And so immediately we won the election, the governor went around in a thank you tour, and top on the list of requests were all these policies that we just reviewed, from uniform to merger of primary 5 and 6 with high school, secondary schools, and the others. And apart from that, the DFID came to Osun and offered to carry out a citizen assessment need for us, a citizen need assessment for us. And the governor obliged them. And when they were going to submit their report, top on the list of requests, needs of citizens of the state of Osun, were all these policies to be reviewed.
So I know that you people the state must have spent money for all these policies when you people put it in place.
Yes.
With the former governor. Now, did you take cognizance of how much you're going to be losing by this reversal? The uniforms that were produced already was funded by the state, I believe.
No.
It was not funded by the state.
Not funded by the state.
Okay. You are not.
Was it PPP? I remember the contract.
Private, yes.
Well, as a follow-up, just to add to what
Yeah.
she's saying, since the previous government put these policies in place, did you not do the due diligence to ensure, because obviously you didn't get the people's support, for you to get so much backlash today, means that your government, your Rejigs government, did not do the due diligence to ensure before putting that policy in place in the first place?
Well, thank you. When I was in the House.
Yes.
And of course, you know there's this principle of separation of power, that at the conception and incubation stage,
Yes.
you don't normally bring in the House of Assembly. It's only during the implementation because of the principle of separation of power. And even at the implementation stage, you are limited to doing oversight to ensure that they conform to the implementation plan submitted to the House.
Yes.
But even at that, we all bought into the policies.
Okay.
You know, we supported the former governor
At that
to,
time.
you know, to carry the policy through. And I can assure you today, all these policies were our policies.
Okay.
You know, so it is not a Aregbesola policy. To restrict it and personalize it would be to lose the substance of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Now, what we did not bargain for were the unintended consequences.
Which way?
Which were, for instance, you know, total breakdown of discipline in schools as a result of single uniform. You see artisans, non-students are donning our uniform to invade schools, to settle scores. You know, total breakdown of discipline. We had to shut down a school recently, the Baptist High School, for a whole term because non-students had donned the common uniform, invaded the school to settle scores. Now, as I was saying, we did not bargain for the unintended consequences.
Okay, let me let
Yeah,
you
so sir, for me, I know that when the first set of policies came out, it was lauded all over the world. You got awards and recognition.
Yes.
And it seems that you used like almost the same format to sit down to come up with these new policies. Now, at the time you came up with the old policies, I want to understand what were especially with the change to 6334, apart from how people felt about it, how parents felt about it, what were the consequences of changing it, of making it the old one? How did it affect students in schools?
New
No, not the old one, yes, the one that you've just changed from. How did it affect students in school? Were they doing worse? Were they doing better? Or is this just because people didn't like it?
These policies that we're talking about were designed to give the best education to our learners, with, done with good intentions. For instance, the 6334, the executive then felt that it would be too, bad to be feeding primary 1 to 4 and not feed primary 5 and 6. That it will constitute a kind of emotional trauma for kids in primary 5 and 6 to be watching primary 1 to 4, eating their daily school feeding, ration, and they are not eating. So in order not to expose them to trauma and emotional, distress, they felt that it would be better to move them to the middle school. I was not in the school then. That was the reason. But the federal government extended school feeding to all the states of the federation. And no state has, because of that, moved their own primary 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
That
Okay.
has defeated that
I remember that
justification
the
already.
policy of Aregbesola was done before the federal government decided to create a feeding policy.
Yeah,
Actually, the federal government patterned after the
our,
effectiveness.
we've been feeding for like 12 years, even before it was adopted nationwide.
So I understand that. Coming to this policy, I always feel worried that do our government think long term,
Holistically.
when we make policies and the financial implication on the society and on the government? Because we remember that when all of these things were being done, it costs Osun a lot of money to prioritize a few things they felt was very important. The governor at the time felt was very important to them. Now we're changing the policies again. My fear is that a new addition will come in the next and say, I prefer what Aregbesola did, and we are going to go back to that. How do you as the advisor on education get the government and the policy makers to understand that this policy can be made to work? It's not the policy at the point, it might be the people. Like you said, the people have a problem, they will still make use of the uniform that you give them now to carry out crime. So why change uniform instead of dealing with the people? And why not continue with the policy long term to be sure it would work?
Thank you very much. Let us put this idea into right perspectives. It was not our government that started the school feeding.
Yes,
it was a federal government policy. 2 states per geopolitical zones. And Osun was able to sustain under Oyinlola government before Aregbesola came before our party won the election. So what we added to it was what the commissioner said, extended it to primary 4. And in course of implementation, there was report of trauma by 5 and 6, we moved them there. So it is not that the government has not done the due diligence. But when you take a step, the policy, it's also important to review your own policy. If the former governor were to be on seat today, and the agitation is what we have now, you cannot detach the former governor from the people. Everybody loved him. He will move around the state. Even now, have a lot of people following him. So you will listen to them. So what we have done is ability to review and correct one or two
the financial cost, the impact.
The financial cost.
Yes.
The financial cost.
You have produced uniform for every school. Now you have to produce new uniforms.
We are not producing uniform for schools.
It's partnership. We knew when they signed the contract with Samasai.
No, we're not producing.
We are not producing uniform.
Okay. And again, let me...
Even at inception, it was a support to the parents to be able to key into it. We are not producing.
Funded by Musa.
Couldn't that have been the problem? That because you're not involved in the production of the uniform, there was not enough security to make sure that only those who need... Wait. Because there are different ways to look at it. Instead of changing the whole system where you've put in money and you sat down to come up with a policy, the best way, in my opinion, please educate me, would be to make sure that there's a source where they can get these uniforms from. So if you let them get the uniforms from just anybody, you have rogues wearing your uniform. But they have a place where they go to get
police uniform.
Yes.
We've had a case recently where criminals wearing police uniform went to an area very close to us in Ikusi here to rob people in their houses. So we can't say because criminals wear the camo or they're wearing police uniform, we change the uniform. So what exactly?
No, beyond that, you see, what resulted from common uniform was that we lost all other stakeholders in the education sector. We completely alienated all student associations. People are attached emotionally to their uniform. I'm sure you want to go back to your school when you're celebrating your anniversary to wear your uniform all over again and just fraternize with your colleagues. So when you alienate important stakeholders, we all know that government alone cannot fund education. We need other stakeholders. And when you alienate them through policies that have not added any value, that has made in addition to the breakdown of discipline and other, in school, you need to, do a stock taking and listen to the people. If you are indeed
So I don't want to flog the horse again, so let me leave that particular one. But I know that
and again, I must remind
this policy ran for
textile dealers. People whose entire life existence depends on their commerce and trade. We completely gave a monopoly to one company, thus rendering thousands of textile dealers, push them out of the market.
The government can't reverse their own policy, which is what you've done.
Yes. Now, if we are strong enough to do stock taking, review your own policy, and be honest with the people enough to admit that you have made mistakes, and courageous enough to correct the mistake, I think we should be applauded.
All right, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue and round up this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So I wanted to talk about the perceived dissonance within your party. And I wanted to, because people saw the former governor, Aregbesola, and his legacies obviously cannot really be erased. I mean, he's built over 100 schools during his period. He trained teachers extensively compared to other governors. And he did quite a bit of empowering farmers across the state. So his legacy is there. But there's that perception that there's an issue of dissonance within the party because of this policy reversal. Could you ever talk about it? Is there an issue between you and the former governor of the state? Is there an issue between your governor and the other governor?
Thank you for that question. I can say it clearly and categorically here today that there's no issue between the two governors. Governor Rauf Aregbesola, former Governor Rauf Aregbesola, remains our leader and our mentor. We celebrate him every day. We're proud to be associated with him. 28 out of 42 members of the correct school served under him. During his tenure of 8 years, And we recorded giant strides in the area of infrastructural development, roads, schools.
The reason why I wanted to go there, sir, let me cut you off, because Nigerians, once they see these kinds of things, they automatically begin to insinuate so much.
Yes.
We're not used to leadership. We're not used to continuum. We're not used to leadership by continuum. We just feel like there's got to be a problem. But the truth is that, yes, you reverse what your predecessor did because it's in the interest of the people.
That is
and
it.
I just want to understand that there's some government that actually think of you, the people, first. Not so much of their party loyalty or the fact that, oh, this is our leader, he did this. So that was important for us to stress.
Yes, and it's important to also point out that, if we reduce the narrative to Oyetola reverses Aregbesol's policies, we're missing the point.
Exactly.
These policies that we're talking about are our policies. Okay. Under the doctrine of collective responsibilities, all of us serve together with Aregbesola. They are not Aregbesol's policies, our policies.
Fantastic.
I was chairman of House Committee on Education. I defended the governor everywhere for 8 years, and I'll still defend him till tomorrow because I learned a lot under him. And believe me, he achieved, unprecedented success when he was
so one of the
governor of Osun.
So back to the policies, sir. Yeah. One of them which you are reversing right now is a return to the previous names of the schools that was changed by the government, which is a good one since you're going to be going back to the uniforms. But did you take cognizance of the students who have written exams, who have results from this new name, probably, that you have given? Then how does that correct the results they have when you now change the names back to what it was before?
Thank you very much. Much different were never made.
Okay.
Because even registration with WAEC and NECO, they were using the names we are reversing to.
Oh, okay. They didn't change that.
Yes.
In the 7 years.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And the burden we have through that is the schools that were meant for girls, those that were meant for boys only, students were carrying certificates of girls' high school, even if you're a male student.
That makes sense.
And it's at a point now that after consulting with WAEC, that we have to issue attestation to all of them. Because we have caused some problems, which we are trying to resolve.
Let me take this call from
And in order to now correct the certificate they are holding and retrieve the one already given to them, we might need to cough out as much as 300 million naira.
Jesus.
So that's huge.
Let me take this call from Oshogbo. Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Go ahead, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Commissioner and Special Advisor.
Thank you.
So I really want to commend this decision that has been taken by the government, because I've had personal experiences. When you see the students, you can't even identify which school is this one coming from. And it's a problem because the first recognition you get when you see a pupil or a student is the uniform. You'll be able to say, okay, this student is from this school. Okay, why are you here? Why are you not in your school? So I'm really happy by the decision because I've had personal experiences, and I must really commend them for taking this up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shin. Yes, go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, so I think we'll just go round and round with every policy. You have a reason why you have reversed out of the 10 recommendations, 9. But I want to understand how this would be something that it stops here and it stops now. Okay. Because what will happen is, I think you already mentioned it, another administration comes in and he sits down with a whole lot of people and then they come up with another different set of policies. What did you do this time around that has made it acceptable to the people, to the stakeholders, to the states? And what are we going to do to make sure that this is not something that will be changed every 4 years or every 8 years?
Now, thank you for that question. No administration will come in and change a system that is working. We decided to do a rethink and, take a second look because, the policies were not delivering. Like I told you, we introduced the policies with very good intentions, but we did not bargain. We did not take into consideration the unintended consequences. So we have looked at it. The second time, we have handed it over to a body of experts to tell us what to do, and they have said we should, this is the way to go. And if we implement very well, if we engage all the stakeholders adequately, we take into cognizance and into consideration their views, I believe we will have a workable system that no administration will tinker with.
Please.
Let me just say something. Really, I feel very convinced about what you're saying. Somehow you came across like you really thinking about the people, and I must applaud you for that. But going forward, aside from all these recommendations, what else would the state citizens of Osun expect to be an improvement concerning education right now?
Thank you. We have a comprehensive program that we have christened Osun Gem. Osun Gem is simply, Osun Gem is the general education master strategy, And, the 4 critical stakeholders in the education sector, the government, the parents, the teachers, and the students, will be adequately focused on. And then we will do what is necessary to make sure that they all optimize and perform very well.
What is
Now,
necessary, we don't know.
I'm going to break it down one by one. Okay. On our part as a government, we will do what we need to do, in terms of, paying salary regularly and fully, in terms of, cash backing the nominal promotions that were given to teachers before to motivate them, to make them happy. We will also make sure that we train and retrain teachers to update their knowledge, to refresh their memory, and to make sure that they can deliver very well. We will also make sure that we have the right quantity of teachers in all the classrooms. Right. And above everything, we will ensure proper monitoring. What is the difference between private schools and public schools? It's just monitoring. No provider will open his eyes and let a teacher wreck or ruin his school. So we are reinvigorating and revitalizing our inspectorate division to make sure that we monitor. You cannot misbehave in our schools anymore. So apart from the normal, inspectorate division, we are also introducing what they call volunteer inspectors of education. Honorable inspectors, retired permanent secretaries, retired principals who are not tired, who are willing to give back.
That's good.
I think you're going to sell your government.
Let me tell you something.
I have to go on a break.
Quickly. Today, we're starting recruitment of teachers, 2,500 teachers from today.
Unfortunately, that's all. Thank you so much. We have to run it. I'm sorry. That's all we can take. I'm not sure we can take any more, but we're going to go on break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you for staying with us. So we went out there to find out people's opinion about this reversal. Watch this.
Well, to me, it's one of the best that has ever happened to the state, because we cannot be in Nigeria and having our own policies different from other parts of the other states in Nigeria. So I really support the motion that they should reverse the something. The one that I can remember is this school uniform. Is it the essence of having a uniform is defeated when all the schools are using only one single uniform? One of the reasons is to identify which school is using what. If there's a crime in any school, you cannot identify where the student comes from. I think the best thing is to make different uniform for different schools. I support that one. Then on the issue of C-State-34 and the other one that was being used before. Well, in the whole country, we are the one that use different policies. In order to be in line with other stakeholders, we have to have the same policies with other states in Nigeria. So I just support that one too. On the Okpama issues, it's a good point it's a good thing that they retain it.
Let me start by saying it is a welcome development, and it is something that we have been expecting since a very long period of time, because most of the education policy that have been reviewed now, they are in line with what is obtainable in the national education policies. And I believe with this, there will be proper development in the education sector in the country, not only in the states. Because if you take a look at it, if there is development in education standard in a particular state, it will definitely have positive impacts in the entire country. So I believe this is a welcome development, and I want to say categorically that in the area of the 6334 that the state has reverted to now, it's a very welcome development as well.
While we went to school, we used various uniforms. But even the names of the schools, the reclassification strategy that is now being reversed, I believe there are some big problems that could arise attendant to it. Because already the distribution pattern of teachers, the distribution pattern of students that we have been used to in the space of the last 10 years, roughly 8 years, now every other thing will begin to replan all over again. So that is what...
Thanks for staying with us. So the people obviously support this reversal. Before we run off, we have to talk about the appointment, because there was a talk of reintroducing it. And a lot of people felt that the fact that you're giving tabs to kids was totally a wrong decision in the first place. How would you have, or how would the kids actually properly utilize it? So some states like Edo State, Lagos State have found partners where they are giving those tabs to the teachers who are using those devices as their lesson notes. How do you plan to reintroduce Okpoimo into the schools?
Yeah, the recommendation of the panel was that we should not throw the baby away with the bathwater, that we should retain it, but improve on it. You know, reconfigure, update, improve on the content. And we engage consultants, experts, you know, people who are knowledgeable in ICT, who can give us the most modern, the most up-to-date, you know, solution to, you know, digital literacy.
Let's take a few tweets.
And the employment of ICT in teaching.
All right. Omogolahon says, see, Morayo, there may not be any overt or known feud. See, Morayo, there may not be any overt or known feud between the former governor and the present governor, but you see their loyalists, especially the social media vuvuzelas. What you see them do is not funny, including Jamiu. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And so the followers are the ones starting the war.
So the followers are saying that they are assuming that there's a feud, and probably truly there isn't any feud.
Andrew Stratham says the rejigging of the Osun State education policy is an excuse for the ruling party members to chop their own money while they're in power.
I have somebody here. She says her name is Ifeoma Eleni Toba Johnson. She's a consultant in the education sector. She says, applauds the decision to review the policy decisions. I have met state executives who are afraid of changing policies in the education sector that are obviously not working. So that's actually a bold step.
Another one who says, HOB Bangbadi says, the ability to review policies by Osun State government must be applauded. This shows that the government is truly concerned with the plight of the people and ready to address issues frontally. Let's celebrate His Excellency.
Okay, we have to run off now. So for those of you starting the social media wars, because you see, you read meanings into things
that are not
erroneously,
there. Conspiracy theories.
Create all these conspiracy theories. It's not necessary. That's how young people, most of them are jobless. Most of them have a lot of free time.
But you're right.
Free time to yourselves, and they just start these wars that are unnecessary. What the government is telling us that there is no rift between them and the previous administration. They are just trying to make things better based on the appeal of the people.
That's it.
That's all we can take. And we come back. It's Wednesday. Oh yes, let's present our gifts. Thank you so much for coming. We like to. Adasmo recently sent us mugs. So if you're saying that, why did we give them yesterday? Adasmo just sent us mugs. So they sent us mugs to give our guests. So we'll give the first timers.
So that when you
and also
when you watch your view at home,
okay,
you will drink it with a cup of.
I watch it every day.
Wow. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Let's go on the break. When we come back, the woman we love. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Kemi Ajetumobi is an entrepreneur, speaker, trainer, and network marketing coach. She's passionate about helping moms that are stressed out and overwhelmed with juggling life and business together. She wants to make you a rock star. Right. So, and she wants to help them, to give them business that can afford them opportunity to lead a fulfilling life. Welcome with us, Kemi Ajetumobi.
Thank you for having me.
You can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet us at TV Second and please hashtag YourVTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, one of the reasons why we brought you on the show, because there are lots of women out there that are housewives. You know, you're not at a paid employment, a 9 to 5. And Kemi is one of such who are you run a business from home, and a successful business at that. So it's important for us to have this conversation with people like you. So people out there know that there are options, but there's a bit of a curveball I like to throw, because it seems that that business you're doing is more of network marketing. Which people are running over, network marketing, la, la, la. But tell us, how did you start this journey and to the point where you're making quite a bit of money right now?
Okay, I started about 6 years ago, but before I started, I'd heard about network marketing like 15 years. And I've seen a lot of people do it, they make money from it, but it never occurred to me that it's something that I could do by myself. I just feel like it's not for somebody like me. So I was just focused on my job, running after my career and everything. And then at a point in my life, I realized that I have a child, I have my family, I have my husband, and it's not really convenient anymore for me to do the kind of job I was doing at that point, you know. I had to leave my son at the care of nannies or maybe my mom or somebody. It was really, really tedious. So that was when I started thinking of what else can I do? I started a traditional business, but then I had to deal with a lot of staff, inventories, so many stuff that I really needed to deal with, and I wasn't getting the kind of result I wanted. That was when the thought of network marketing came back. So I decided to pursue the thought, even though I wasn't ready to start at that point. I decided to pursue the thought. I go on YouTube, get books, and read about it. After about 3 or 4 months, I believe that I think I had enough confidence to start this kind of business.
May I even go there?
Yeah.
Because I know that network marketing is for people who have a network already. I did a bit of it, and I realized
we all did a bit of it.
We all did a bit of it. All of us
Yeah.
did. Yes. And we realized that you need a level of network already. You need a level of a certain amount of people in your network willing to support you to at least grow to a level before you now start getting new people. So if you're someone who doesn't have people around you, you're shy, you can't talk to people, it's not really the kind of business for you. So what was it? How were you able to fly? Because I read your profile and you got in just a few weeks, you were already top management in that business. How was it able? How were you able to get people to buy? Who do you know? Who do you talk to? Give us the cocoa. Don't say it's grace of God. Give us the cocoa.
I didn't say grace of God. I'll never say grace. No, it's grace of God, but I won't put everything on grace of God. But the thing is that when I wanted to start, that was one of my fear. Like, how am I going to do? In fact, that was one of the things that held me back for years. Like, I don't know anybody. Am I going to be going around the street talking to people and stuff like that? But at that point, because I made a lot of research, I watched videos on YouTube, I read books. So I got some informations. And I realized that if I want to succeed in this business, I don't really need to rely on the people I know. But I could leverage on social media. Yes. So I told myself that, okay, if social media is a solution, I'm going to learn everything I needed to learn about Facebook. So I learned so much. I watched a lot of videos. Then I started buying paid trainings about, even though I've not started the business, but I already knew what I want to do. I had a plan.
You prepared yourself.
Yes, I prepared myself. So, and I made up my mind I wasn't going to talk to any of my family members to join me at first. Because that's one of the things that will lead to your failure very fast. Yes, because when you bring in your families, they're going to join because maybe out of pity or maybe because they couldn't say no to you. And at the point, they'll be like, Shaye Mwani, are you starting this business because of me? So they just pull out, and then at that point you feel like your business is crashing. So I just said, I'm going to go for strangers, people I don't know. You know, they said that there's this adage that's in Yoruba that says that when you are not, I mean, for a new person you can become anybody you want to be. So at that point, I decided that I'm going to go for people I don't know on social media, and I'm going to present myself as the kind of person they would like to do business.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Let's go on a quick break now. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, thanks for staying with us. So, before the break, we told us that we should try to start a multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
Don't start with family. Start with people you don't know. Let me come to Mariam.
Yeah, so the part I've been waiting to ask you is, how can I be a rock star business person? Can you give me 1, 2, 3, 4 points on how to get there?
When you come into network marketing, there's a lot of misconception out there. People believe that, okay, you don't need to put in the work. People believe that you just go there and you're going to catch money. Maybe money will just be flowing.
That's how they sell it to you now. You just do one, bam,
you make
that's
it.
That's how you sell it to us.
But yes, now. I don't do that. I don't sell it. I let you know the kind of work you're going to do. Like, this is real business. I wouldn't even tell you that it's an investment. Because the moment you hear investment, you believe that I just drop my money and go and sleep. No, it's not an investment.
So what is it? Residual income.
Yes, residual income, but you need to work it for it to become residual. So when you're coming in, the most important thing is your mindset. And then you must have the right expectation. Like, know that I really need to put in this work. Even though you're going to leverage, there are ways you can leverage on people you know. I would rather say leverage on people you know, maybe for them to just become your customers at first.
Okay.
They could use your product, and when they love it, if the product is good, they will be hooked. And they become returning customers. And then some of your people you know too might want to do the business, but I would say don't rely on them.
Okay, because of time, I want you to walk us through that process.
Yeah.
So you went online, but let Dr. throw in a question first.
The question I want to ask is, I like where you started from, in that it's a lot of work, because they make it look like it's something you can do as a side gig.
Yes.
And many people give up because it's not a side gig kind of job. And they talk about the phone calls you need to make, how to follow up. What did you invest to get to where you are now? And how can somebody who is stuck in, they've already invested the money, but they don't know how to now turn that network marketing into bringing profits for them?
Okay. Like when I started, one of the things, just like what I said earlier, one of the things I did was that try to see what will get me from point A to point B. Okay. And what do I need to do? It's just like the way we tell people, you don't need to ask what government is going to do for you.
What can you do?
What can you do? What can you bring to the table?
So give an example. What was that thing that you did? What was the one? What got you from point A to point B?
Yes, like I started as somebody that was working. Okay. So, and I knew that I needed this. My job is not giving me enough time. But I told myself that if I want to leave this job, then I really need to do something extra.
Right.
I really need to put in extra time. Okay. The first thing I did was I did a kind of time evaluation for myself. Okay, what do I do when I wake up till when I sleep? Okay. How can I extract like 4 or 3 hours that I will know that I will use for my business? So when I was able to I was able to scoop out like 2-3 hours from my entire day to focus on my business. So when you're coming to me, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that how many hours do you have in a day to put into this work? Right. It's not something that you will just be running. You just say, oh, my business, then let me call this person. It's intentional. Being intentional about it. I'm going to invest 2 hours every day. I'm going to invest 3 hours every day into my business. Fantastic. So one of the things that people actually do is that when you come into the business, they tell you, this is what you need to do to get to point A.
People are shy.
But they don't tell you how. The how.
Exactly.
There is what and there is the how. So how do you go about it? That's where a lot of people miss it.
Okay, so the business I did, I got a mentor who was telling me the what's, how many hours do you want, all of these things you just, and told me the how.
Okay.
You know, but then I realized that the business was very expensive for the common man.
Okay.
It was something for the elites who could afford it. Okay. Now, when you're getting into a business like network marketing, do you also have to consider your environment and what actually would appeal to the general public? Or do you just want to do it because every other person is doing it? What are some of the things you consider in picking the right one for you?
Okay, good. That's a very fantastic question. Like when I wanted to start, that was one of the things I discovered, that you need to answer these particular questions before I would say this is the company I'm going with. A lot of people came to me then, because I actually throw it open to friends and family that I want to go into network marketing. People came to me with businesses that you need to start with like 200,000, with like 100,000, and I said, okay, I can drop this money, but how many people do I know
that willing,
that can drop this money, that can afford this money? So I take it off that this is a no for me. So I was looking for a company that could accommodate anybody, whether you're rich, whether you're just there, something that you could, anybody can afford. That was what I was looking for. Then secondly, I was looking for everyday use products. Consumable. If I'm selling this mug as a network marketing company, if you buy this mug, you might not have a need for it in the next 10 years.
Yes, if it doesn't break.
Yes.
So you're saying that these are decisions people should.
Yes.
These are questions you consider before going into network marketing. And I want to reiterate this thing, because I've read a lot of studies about how network marketing is the future and how billions and billions is coming from that industry, and because people can start with nothing. But we must also highlight the level of research you did before investing in this business. Many people don't do. We get convinced, and some of us have invested our money and we are burnt.
We have lost it.
You know, the reason why you could say you were burnt was because you actually went into a business with a lot of money. Probably you thought you were investing.
Some of us don't like that rejection. You try to make calls and we'll say, sorry, please, I'm not buying. Some of us can't handle that issue. Is there a training you will give to
let me just ask you a question.
Yes.
You go to the supermarket, you go to the markets every day, and all those Igbo guys will call you and they say, Murayo. They don't know you. They will even say, my friend, my customer. And then you just walk away.
Because that's rejection.
That's rejection. You just rejected that guy. But that guy will not even remember who you are. That guy will move on immediately.
That's why I don't go to family members that know you.
So it does not pay you that they will.
You just move on to the next person. It's not personal. That person is not ready. It's not about you. It's nothing personal. Because when the Yalata call me and I say, I just move past, I will even price it. Maybe I'll even go for window shopping. I'll go around, how much is this? And I say, okay, sorry, ma, I'll come tomorrow.
And you don't show up.
And I didn't show up. She would not close her shop.
Okay, so, you know,
on the statistics basis, how successful are people with things like that? What makes them fail? And how many people would you say, like in every 10 people that start a network marketing business, how many people get to succeed and get to the point that you're at?
Okay. In every network marketing company, there's this top 1%. And then there is the 1% of the 1%. But what differentiates this 1% from the majority? Consistency. Ability to show up every day. And then willingness to learn and be coachable. That will make the difference. You know, like you come into the business because I was the one that introduced you. You expect that I should start spoon feeding you. But you're going to like take ownership of your business and like, okay, I really need to own this business. It's my money. I put my money into it. It's my business, is my name. So I gotta make it work. If I have support, fine. If I don't have support, I will look out for this support.
I have to run. I think what I have learned so far, because I think you've dropped some serious nuggets here. Many of us have abandoned network marketing because just like, we what is this? But what I'm hearing you say right now is that, first of all, you have to find 2 or 3 hours in a day that you're committed to your business. Number one, it's not a side gig. It's not the kind of way I'm doing major and I cannot do that. No, it's a full-time job.
You can do it as side gig.
Yes,
you dedicate hours.
To dedicate hours to it.
Of resting time.
Even for every business.
And then
for every business
and then when you start up, you don't start. We try not to start with family. Start with trying to throw your net outside further.
And rejection is okay.
And rejection is okay.
Yeah, it's a part of life.
You know, there's a training we do. Go for no. To train people on how to handle rejection. Go for 100 no. By the time 100 people tells you no, It's already become norm.
A part of it.
So you don't even care whether you say no. No means
broken as no, you won't be.
As for me and my household,
as a Moteku.
Anyway,
what if we start a Moteku network?
But thank you so much. I think we learned quite a bit
so
from
much
you
from
today.
you.
And I'll probably will send your number or your access to on our online platform so that people can go there to reach you and just find out how, because a lot of people need help.
Yeah.
They need some kind of side income. They need to actually run a business. And since you are obviously successful at this, you can help those. And you said something very important. Pick a product that you know your circle can afford. So you're in the A class.
Pick your A class.
Pick the A class. If you're in the B class, find your level. Find consumables that people can buy and use and reuse. That's what we can take. Thank you so much. We have a gift for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Please do the honors and explain to her what is in the gift.
Okay. So we want you to join us in drinking a cup of coffee every morning. And so we're giving you a beautiful mug from Others Mall, so that you will join us on the show when
you're watching your view. You're drinking with
your the first time, man. Please, we must give you mugs. Please. Where are their mugs? Let us please stand up. They must see that we're giving you mugs. Where are our mugs? How many?
How many do we have?
Please, it was only 5 before. It was only 5 before.
Now we are 6.
Nigeria, you see, You see, Anyway, please have a seat. We'll give you your mugs after the show. Okay. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. See Nigerians. One person just joined us.